Mark's ready for. Well,
you ready?
He's ready for this.
You're ready. He's ready. Go ahead, Nsima. What's going on?
What do we got?
I love this channel, MeatCanyon. Recently, it just hit me, hit my feed, and I've just been going on a spree. And when
MeatCanyon.
MeatCanyon. If you guys are listening, go to this channel, watch his content. But I came across this video, and I was watching. I'm like, this is quite disturbing, but this is real. Like when it comes to, you know what? I'm not going to ruin it. Let's just watch it, and then let's. Yeah, I want what you think. Mark.
Check her out.
Yep.
It's hard losing weight. It's an everyday struggle. You will always tell yourself, I'll start tomorrow. I'll start tomorrow. But you have to take action to make change. This time I can change. I know I can.
Forgetting something, Joshua?
No, Tony. I don't think so.
What about your cereal? You always start the day with a bowl of cereal.
Well, not anymore. I'm gonna change, Tony. Change for the better.
No. Come on, Joshua. You don't mean that here. Come here, Joshua. You don't want to eat that fruit. You want this sweet treat. So yummy and delicious. Here, come here.
Already breaking down.
Come here.
Who's your tiger?
You are.
Oh.
Now, who's my little piggy, huh? Who's my little piggy?
I am.
That's right. That's right.
I've been that little piggy myself.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's terrifying.
That's so scary.
They're great. Gosh. There you go. Bring it up to those luscious lips.
I'll never change.
Oh.
I'm a failure.
Oh.
No, Joshua, come on, don't cry.
Just coddling him, massaging him. Looks like Beavis and Butthead character.
A little bit. It's hard losing weight. It really is an everyday challenge, but it's okay. I can always start tomorrow.
Ah, yes. That's some dark shit. Are they always like that?
Dude, they're significantly worse.
Yeah, they MeatCanyon makes like parodies on a lot of stuff, and he makes it creepy. Like there's a SpongeBob one too. But when I saw this, I was like, this is actually real. Like, like this is why we don't keep certain things in the house. Because if I had Frosted Flakes on the fridge, I'd try to fast, and then they'd just be calling my name.
They'd talk to you.
They talk to you.
The way this guy does stuff, though, it reminds me of, do you remember Garbage Pail Kids?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Okay, so it's a lot like that. It's really
What was
creepy.
that? Is that like 90s?
Might even be
80s? Yeah, I feel like I haven't heard of Garbage Pail Kids, but
I'll pull it up. But
You know, I think people need just like more. They need more examples, more education. They need shit. Why not? Like, I know there's like a little bit of humor in there. Maybe someone that has struggled with weight loss severely might not even think that's that funny. They might.
Dude, yeah.
They might be like, man, that like just hurts because I feel that way times 1,000. You know. It's a difficult thing to. It's a difficult thing to be able to change yourself, but it's what we talk about in the show all the time. How can you make some changes? One thing is to be careful with your choices when you purchase stuff, because when you purchase stuff, you might have an impulsive purchase, but hopefully over a period of time, when you go to the grocery store, you can go to the grocery store fed, well rested, and make the best decisions possible. And the decisions that you make when you're at the grocery store, hopefully you are buying less and less stuff that isn't good for you over a period of time.
You know, let's talk about this real quick, because I think, you know, even though I found that video hilarious, you're right. Like, there are some people who like, that is actually the struggle, right? So Joshua, what could Joshua have done to defeat Tony the Tiger? Like, let's be real. What could he have done?
Yeah, maybe on this particular day, I think it's important that you I hate the morning routine thing, but like people respond really, really well to a routine.
Yes.
You're going to respond better to having a routine and having a plan and having a little bit of a schedule than just haphazardly going through your day.
Mm-hmm.
Because haphazardly going through your day, you were kind of planning on maybe going for a walk in the morning, but you woke up, you looked outside, and sure enough, it's raining and it's windy, and you don't go. But if you have a scheduled time where you're going to exercise for 10, 15 minutes, you might look outside and go, damn, it's raining. You might get a raincoat. You might get an umbrella. Mm-hmm. Or you might say, I'm going to go in my garage and use my treadmill or whatever other access you have to some sort of equipment. You do your 10 or 15-minute workout. You go to your fridge. Tony the Tiger is still there. He still has conversation with you.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe you lose. But you got your exercise in.
Yeah.
You protected yourself. You did something that is going to help you to control your blood glucose better because you just exercised. Now, instead of you having something bad for you in the morning, you just had some post-workout carbohydrates.
Mm.
Maybe the exercise that you did makes you feel good.
Yeah.
You're like, Tony, get the fuck out of my kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
The hell are you doing here? And why is he so jacked, by the way?
Well, Tony the Tiger actually is jacked. If you look up a picture,
yeah.
Tony the Tiger is
small waist, V-taper.
Yeah.
He'd be a great bodybuilder.
Chris Bumstead and shit.
But, in this situation, I'm the type of guy who, if there is Frosted Flakes or Cinnamon Toast Crunch, the beautiful taste you can see, if that is in the house, Tony's fucking jacked. That's false advertising, though. Mm-hmm. That is false advertising.
Probably a great squatter with those short legs, too.
Yeah.
But the long torso, maybe a sumo deadlifter.
A great sumo deadlifter, and actually, a great squatter. I wonder how he'd do at the Olympic.
He's probably a great swimmer.
Oh, yeah. That's a good call. Tough on the bench, though. The arms are long. The chest is big, though.
He doesn't look like he has great range of motion in the shoulders.
He'd have a pretty good total.
He looks a little tight. Yeah.
But one of the things is people love to talk about tracking macros, and tracking macros can be very beneficial if you're somebody who really wants to try to fit some of these foods in. But there are many people who these foods, I'm one of those people who even if I track it and I won't just eat one bowl. Because I'm not satisfied after one bowl. Even though that bowl's 400, 500 calories, it does make me feel full. So the best thing for me personally is, even though I could track it and make it fit, I would just keep it out of the house so I don't have to fight that battle, and I could choose a better option. So I think one of the biggest things to not even ever have to fight this battle of choosing the right foods is just making sure that in your home, you have the right foods.
So maybe you would have chose to throw that out the night before, because most likely he didn't wake up first thing in the morning. The videos, first thing in the morning, he's going to his fridge, right?
He got a grapefruit, Mark. Right. He brought a grapefruit to the table.
He was trying.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to bring up. I don't know about you guys, but I have never, ever woken up and been fired up to eat a grapefruit for breakfast. So I think that was his first mistake that a lot of people make, which is I'm going to start Monday. I'm going to, eat nothing but salads. I'm going to work out 4 times a day, 8 times a week. It's okay, you're setting yourself up for really hard failure. So I think maybe picking something else that's more appetizing, but also maybe not even worrying about breakfast. If you can't make that tough decision between Frosted Flakes and a good meal, then fuck breakfast. Don't even worry about it.
Tim Dillon had a guy on his show named Joe Rogan on his podcast.
I've heard of him.
And you should check it out. Tim Dillon has a cool show. I think it's episode 380 that he had, where he had Joe Rogan on the show. And Tim Dillon, he just talks. Sometimes he's really over the top. He's very sarcastic. He's got a very really funny. He just is fucking funny. He's hilarious in a lot of ways. But what he said was and he's very smart too. He knows history and all kinds of stuff. He was bringing up the fact that we don't have as much religion, or don't seem to be as dedicated to religion in this country as we used to be. And he's and I think it's part of some of the suffering that you're seeing going on with people's mental health. And he said something to the effect of, what are we replacing it with? Then later on in the episode, they start talking about food and alcohol and some other, and he's like, well, what are you replacing that with? And he said it a couple times throughout the show, and I thought, that's actually really brilliant. You kind of do need to fill stuff in with something else.
Yes.
At least for a while. So if you're going to break the habit of watching porn at night, you probably need to fill in with something else. Like maybe you still beat off, but maybe you don't watch porn.
Imagination.
Yeah, maybe you use your imagination. Maybe you just rely on something slightly different. So maybe you start to develop new habits with what you said, Andrew, is really smart. And that is, what are you replacing? What were you eating before in the morning? You were eating Frosted Flakes? Well, that has a lot of flavor. If the options are like black and white, or there's just not an option at all, like I'm going to fast, I'm going to either fast tomorrow morning, or I'm going to cook up like 5 or 6 eggs with some bacon and some cheese, and I'm going to make a killer omelet.
Yeah.
Calorie-wise, the omelet might be a worse choice. But in the long run, you're teaching yourself to eat things that are very nutrient dense, very healthy for you. And we know that when you start to eat more natty foods, they're harder to overeat. They keep you fuller for longer. Whoa. And it will help you to get that protein up and to keep your energy stable, rather than you having these huge fluctuations with things that have a lot of sugar in them.
There's so many podcasts where we talk a lot about protein and the benefits, and like you have a protein shake right here, right? Mm-hmm. Like that's something that, you could have in the morning with some coffee that could actually, it's protein and it staves off your appetite. But also, like if you have a super sweet tooth and you want something that's sweet, right? And the eggs don't do it for you, you could easily get some Greek yogurt, some berries, raspberries and blueberries to put in there, put a little bit of honey, mix that shit up. That tastes, it's
really good.
And it's real though. The thing is, it's real. You will end up actually feeling pretty good and pretty full after, and it probably won't spike your blood sugar as much. You won't end up overeating it as much. Like it's just, again, a better option. Like you just mentioned right there. What can you replace it with? He tried a grapefruit. And the funny thing about the grapefruit is I remember when I was a kid, when my mom was like, there's a point where my mom was trying to like diet or whatever. And I think it wasn't Dr. Phil, Dr. Oz mentioned something about grapefruit, him and Oprah. So my mom bought hella grapefruits and she was like eating grapefruits and stuff. I remember I would eat some grapefruit here and there too. So like people really try that.
They're kind of weird.
They are weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's something about it that they were saying health-wise, but
they're really gross.
I like them. I like grapefruit. It's very bitter.
I hear that a lot.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I'm like, maybe I've never had like I don't know if there's different kinds.
No, you're right. They're weird. They're just different.
Yeah. If you put grapefruit and salt, the salt does something where it actually makes the grapefruit a bit sweeter, I think. Yeah. It's pretty fucking good. But either way, you want to find something that you can replace this, whatever you're overeating. We talked about it so much, things that you can replace it with that are going to be better for you in the long run, that are going to allow you to stick to the habits.
Every morning I have a steak shake. I put a steak shake. I did it today. I threw the steak shake in with some Dutch Bros cold brew coffee, and I used some of the chocolate electrolytes that we have. It's like a dessert.
Yep.
I have that every day. That's really helpful for me because I still have like a fatty guy taste bud thing going on.
Oh, we all do.
I like a lot of different flavors. I like shit that's spicy. I like savory stuff. I love sweet stuff. Nowadays I can control stuff better, so I can have like chocolate and things like that, but I got to be careful with my selection. I can't just go and buy like peanut butter cups, because if I was to purchase peanut butter cups, I'd buy like a truckload of them. But I'll try to buy like a dark chocolate or something. It's like, it doesn't taste so good that I'm going to eat a lot of it. It tastes good enough to hit some of those kind of pleasure sensors and stuff like that, but it's not anything that kind of short circuits me into a lot of overeating. So you got to find shit in your diet that tastes really good. And one of the hugest problems is that we don't really cook as much anymore. I don't think people are cooking. The households are a little different nowadays. You don't really there's not as many. I don't believe there's as many families like sitting down and having dinner. There's a huge difference when mom cooks dinner, or whoever in the household cooks dinner.
Catch yourself.
When mom cooks dinner,
the way it used to be.
That's her job.
The good old days.
Why are they working, Mark?
I don't know.
Why do they have jobs now?
They got all smart.
Getting educations. The fuck you need an education for?
We're going backwards.
Going back. I want to be traditional.
The whole world's going to hell.
God.
But normally when you cook like a meal at home, there would be some sort of like I mean, almost in every culture, not in every single meal, but almost in every single culture, there's kind of like a meat-based something or other, right? Italian, you got meatballs and pasta. Maybe you can say, well, you're going to overeat because you're going to eat like garlic bread and a bunch. But like at least there's some real foods in there. At least there's some like meat, Mexican food. Most of the food that you look at, there's like American food. There's a fucking hamburger or something like that,
Power Project family, how's it going? Now, Piedmontese Beef is a company we've been eating literally for years now because they have some of the best beef on the market, tons of cuts, tons of different types of beef. Check them out. Andrew, where can they get it?
At Piedmontese.com. That's PIEDMONTESE.com. And at checkout, enter promo code POWER to save 25% off your entire order. And if your order is $150 or more, you get free 2-day shipping. Links to them down in the description as well as the podcast show notes.
To add in on the other side where, like, for example, in African food, even though like there's not always a lot of meat, but the carbohydrates that are used have a lot of fiber. So like the yams, these things.
You guys do a lot of soups and stuff, right?
Yeah, soups, but yams have a fuck ton of fiber. So like when you eat some of that food, it still fills you up. You're not like, it's not, cereal is literally just processed food. It's sugar, and it's meant for you to overeat. So even in some of these other places, the real food has nutrients that are going to make you feel full. And that's kind of what we're talking about here.
A potato supposedly kind of depends on what you look at, but it has like this satiety rating that's like through the roof. So any kind of potato, I know like a yam and a sweet potato, like they're all a little different, but it's all kind of the same thing in some respect. Like if you eat a yam, like that's substantial.
Yes, it is. It is. So that's the thing. Just figure out better substitutes so you don't have to end up like Joshua, and maybe just don't have the shit in the house, right? Because I mean, that was me. I'd kowtow to Tony too.
Do you think it would help to have a little support? So like if he went to the fridge and maybe there was somebody else in the household, that maybe prepared a good meal either for you or for themselves already, like for you guys to sit down and it's like a significant other, or if I know for me, like if my wife's doing good shit, it's easier for me to do good shit. And I know vice versa. I don't really pay too much attention to what she does, but it can sway me,
Dude, my girlfriend, like, she makes her own food, but she has good eating habits. And I had good eating habits too, but I'm even better now just because I'm like, damn, look at you. Okay, like it's good when everyone's kind of playing the same game. Right. I know that can be tough for people because sometimes if you live with somebody else, you're trying to make these changes, but they still want those Frosted Flakes. Maybe you have to have a conversation and say, hey, boo, can we just get rid of it? Like, can we just get this out of the house so that I don't have to eat this all the time? Sometimes, like, support is beneficial. Support helps.
Yeah, you don't have to be negative about it. I think you could just say, hey, we talked about this. We were supposed to start Jan 1 and it's the 4th and we're kind of like screwing up. Like, let's make sure that we right this ship and get head in the right direction.
Yeah. For us, it's definitely that. We both have each other's backs, but also we want to eat good for our son, and then, our daughter, she can make her own decisions and she makes good choices already.
But so. Andrew, doesn't Aurelius love Frosted Flakes? Why? Well, no. It's because of the kids. We keep it in the house because of the kids.
He's never had... I know what this sounds like. Okay, he's only 2. He's gonna be 2 exactly 1 week from today. But he's never had cake. He's never had candy. He's
deprived child.
Sounds like you're giving your kid an eating disorder.
He has no idea that those things even exist. It's like when Mark was saying that his kids didn't know Disneyland existed, so they never wanted to go.
Happiness from your children?
Yes.
Yes.
No balloons either.
Oh, that's right.
Did you talk about that on the podcast?
No.
I feel like the people just need to know real quick.
Well, we can leave it at that and just be like, damn, they didn't have balloons?
Leave it there.
Okay.
So when I do have like the defenses down and it's like, man, I really just want like a bag of chips or something, I think about my son looking at me and wanting those chips and then me having to explain, I can eat this, but you can't. At first it was like, oh, he doesn't have teeth. He doesn't know how to, chew on this. He can't handle it. Now he can definitely handle it, but now I just like, hey, nope, let's get rid of any of the things to where like I have to go hide and eat it or something, you know, which has happened.
Yeah.
We had some candy in the house, and I'm like, oh, let me get this. You know, it's a dark chocolate Ghirardelli. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna eat the shit out of this. But if he like comes around the corner, I have to be like, oh wait, nope, because then he's gonna, oh, I want some too. It's like, well, you can't have, like, I don't want you to have this. So I guess I am being a little bit like depriving of him, or he's being deprived. But if he did eat it, then maybe he'd freak out and want that all the time. But if he doesn't know it exists yet, then, you know, he doesn't want it. But in time, he will have access to it, and he'll be able to make his own decisions. But I'm just trying to build a really good base for him.
Mm-hmm.
I got like cottage cheese, yogurt, fresh fruit, just kind of around a lot. We're fortunate to be sponsored by Piedmontese. It's great to have lean sources of meat.
Yeah.
Red meat gets a lot of, or used to get a lot of negative press, still kind of gets negative press because of the amount of saturated fat in it. But Piedmontese, the type of cattle that they are, the meat is much leaner. And I eat that every fucking day. I think if you know, we've talked about it before, but if you fill your plate up with nutritious stuff, then you start to end up with a diet that has less room for negative influences. And I think that you can leave, if you have good control over your diet, you can leave some of it open to eat whatever the fuck you want here and there.
Yeah.
Shouldn't be a thing for you to like starve yourself away from pizza for months on end if you really like pizza. You should be able to, after a Saturday morning run or lift, you should be able to go have some pizza.
Yeah.
Watch your favorite game, your favorite show, whatever it is, plop down in front of the TV and just like not have any rules for a few hours. Why not? Like if you like that, if that's what you enjoy, and that's what, because otherwise we got the opposite going on, and all we need for any diet to work is consistency.
Yes.
And if whatever it is you're trying, you can't string together 3 days, 5 days, 7 days, 12 days, it's not working. It's not appropriate for you. So if I was to feed you, if I was to be with you for a whole day, I gave you all the nutritious stuff, but I also titrated small amounts of, here's a Beach Hut deli sandwich at lunch. At dinner, you're going to have, you know, a steak or some sort of meat, and you're going to have some vegetables, and then I'm going to give you some ice cream at the end of the day. Next day, you get done with your workout. For lunch, you have 2 slices of pizza and a protein shake. And I continue. If I keep giving you small dosages, like if I'm literally feeding it to you, small dosages of shit that you really like. Friday, I give you a beer or 2 with your dinner or whatever, or some wine. You'll be able to probably follow that for a long time. Be like, holy fuck, this is amazing. But if you're left to your own devices to try to do that, how can you personally safeguard yourself to where you don't overdo it? And that's where you could be potentially, like in downtown Davis, I can go on a walk. There's a place called the Village Bakery. I could go in there and get a couple slices of pizza. I've done it a bunch of times. Like after like a long run, I'm like, I like pizza a lot. I like that kind of pizza. It's New York style pizza. I go in there and I get 2, if 2 slices of pizza throws off your weight loss mission or your mission to have the body that you want, something's awry, something's off. If a little bit of bread throws you off, if a little bit of, again, this is considering that you have some control over your diet. If you're still spinning out of control, you might need a stronger discipline in the beginning. You might need to keep it black or white so that you don't get stuck in the gray and you don't make bad decisions until you can gain control with some like intermittent fasting or whatever the strategy is that you use. You might have to kind of have yourself in a little bit of a purgatory for a little while until you feel you're more advanced. And once you're a little bit more advanced, you should be able to do what I just mentioned, but you'll have to learn how to do it. You have to learn how to have strategies that work. So I think what Nsima said about maybe the Frosted Flakes, maybe you ate like 2-3 bowls of cereal and you're like, you know what, I'm just going to end up killing the whole box. either kill the whole box that day or destroy it, throw it out, like actually throw it in the garbage bin that's outside your house rather than just putting it inside the house in case you wake up in the middle of the night and want to reach in for it or whatever. So you're going to have to develop a lot of strategies around how to protect yourself.
And the last thing I'll mention is literally what you said. Consistency is the name of the game, but a big part of this is awareness. So there's so many different ways of dieting. We've utilized intermittent fasting, carnivore, keto. We've done all of these things. But one thing is you need to be consistent and you need to be aware with who you are, okay? Because there are some people who can handle one bowl of Frosted Flakes and be okay. If you're that person and you got that self-control, you're an adult, and that one bowl, you keep it to one bowl and you keep it, and that's it. Hey, cool, power to you. But if you are the person who tends to overeat the Oreos or overeat the ice cream, you said that Andy can go in and have 2 scoops of ice cream and be like, cool, that's not me. And I don't know if that's... Some people are just really good with that.
What's wrong with you, women?
I will eat the whole pint, bro. And I know that about myself. So that's why I just don't keep it there. I'll still have it every now and then. But when I have it, I'll have the pint, right? But that's the thing. That's why I just don't keep it there. So know yourself, because you want to set your surroundings up so you can be consistent. Right? And then over time, things will evolve, because we've done all these different diets, but we don't do them perpetually. You've had months where you've done carnivore, right? The beginning of the year last year, you did carnivore for 90 days or some shit like that.
100 days.
100 days. Over time, you've implemented carbohydrates and fruit and all that type of stuff, right? But you have the carnivore thing to pull from whenever you want to, on whatever day you want to pull from it. So one thing to understand is implement the diet that's going to push you forward currently, but don't think that this is what I have to do for the rest of my life. Because there's so many things that can work. And as you implement different things, it's like having, you remember Legolas from fucking Lord of the Rings, how he pull his arrows out and just fucking, it's like having all these fucking arrows in a quiver and being able to pull that shit out. That's what dieting is for us right now. But you want to find what you can stick to. You want to be consistent. And then over time, you want to course correct so that it can get better and better. And then over time, you're not going to even have to think about it.
Have either one of you guys had anything that would resemble a binge in the last... I don't know, 2 years or so?
Nah.
Not a binge, but you guys remember those homemade peanut butter cups? They're peanut butter balls.
Yeah, like one of your relatives makes.
My sister-in-law makes those, and so it was Christmas, and she made a bunch. The bag, big old Ziploc bag, and I, like every day I'd be like, damn, like I grab one, then move on, grab another one, move on, and then one day I look down and I'm like, there's only 3 left. I don't think anyone else is eating these.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. Like I ate the whole bag, but it was like, I don't know how long, it was like weeks. So it wasn't necessarily like a one-time binge, but it was like
I don't even think you can call that a binge though.
It was just extended. It made me feel weird at the end because I was like, damn, there was a lot in here and those are all gone. But yeah, I haven't like had the need to go eat anything else after that.
I feel like a binge is like when you have a lack of awareness and when you're eating, like you see this thing and you're just
going for it,
and you're full and you're, you know what I mean? Like that's a binge.
Yeah, like you were talking about pizza. When that episode we were just talking about, like when I was drinking a lot, like I just eat pizza all the time too. I love pizza. I don't remember the last time I had a slice of pizza. I really, really want one, but like
so many cool ways of doing this stuff too. You can make some pizza at home.
Yeah,
I don't know if you ever tried that. Like if you have a family, it's kind of fun. Like we don't really do that as much anymore. But when the kids were little, we would make pizza at home. It's just a way different experience. You're not going to eat nearly the amount. It's not really as good. It's like taste. It's different.
It is different.
It's different, but it's still dope.
Yeah, that would be the last time is I would make homemade pizzas with the fat-free cheese, which I don't do anymore. But yeah, so I mean, but that's the thing you were talking about, like having different tools, right? I had to do a lot of different diets or whatever you want to call it, and now I have 2 meals a day, and I've been feeling great because it's 100% whole foods, like, with the exception of like diet sodas or whatever. But what I was going to ask you, Mark, is you like that bakery place better than Woodstock Pizza?
Woodstock pizza is good too.
Woodstock's great.
Yeah, the Woodstock in Davis is like all new now. They moved it, and it's really nice. It's like a legit kind of sports bar.
Dang. Okay.
Yeah, it's good.
I have to go check it out.
Woodstock's is pretty dope.
I love that place.
Maybe I'll go there after this. I just wanted to add one more thing here. I think my wife has said this before. Sometimes she'll say something and she's just like, I don't know. She just has a way with just like kind of nailing stuff sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, I think some of the people that you help sometimes, they don't need a diet. They just need to not binge. Hashtag not binge. Like, how many days can you make it without binging? And then what's your interpretation of a binge? That's another thing. Like, what is a binge? I don't really know, but you definitely know. Like when you start eating, like you're eating one type of food and then you go to another type of food, another type, like you're out of control. You spun out of control. Why are you out of control? Because you were probably too restrictive somewhere else. Something went wrong somewhere. You either over-exercised, underslept, or are just making poor decisions with overeating. And recognize that anyone can overeat. So we're talking about there are people that have this like superpower of being able to put like food back. But those people not only have the superpower of putting food back, they have the superpower of not going to another food afterwards. Because you could eat like a bunch of French fries and like let's say we all went to unlimited cheeseburgers and French fries at like In-N-Out.
I'd come out 10 pounds heavier.
Yeah, they keep feeding it to us. Well, there would be a point where we would stop. There'd be a point where we're like, okay, like Nsima ate like 12 burgers and you're all sweaty and shit.
I got more. Don't worry, I got more.
We're cheering you on to go for it and have some more. You got like a whole ring of sweat going. But if they were like, hey, you guys want some milkshakes? We'd be like, yep, no matter how full we were. So, realize that it's really easy to get a second or third stomach with different types of food because there's something in the body called palate fatigue. You kind of get tired of this. And that actually would be a great departure for you to just stop eating altogether. If you got full off of that one thing and still want something sweet, if you can control that and say, you know what, I'm just going to have, in an hour from now, I'm going to have a protein shake or I'm going to have a yogurt, I'm going to eat a little bit of fruit. Having something in place of that, I think will fill in that gap for you. Take us on out of here, Andrew.
Alrighty. Thank you, everybody, for checking this out. If you guys dig this content, the podcast has full-length episodes that dive deep into stuff like this all the time. So please make sure you guys subscribe if you guys are not subscribed. For everything podcast-related, head over to powerproject.live and follow the podcast at MB Power Project on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. My Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter is at I am Andrew Z. Nsima. Where you at?
Discord's down below for some community.